I'm standing in the middle of a racetrack today. It's a bit breezy and a little bit damp at the moment, but behind me is a collection of electric vehicles. We know they're quick on the road, we know they're quick in a straight line, but can they be fun on track as well? Well, this is the UK's first ever EV-only track day. So we've brought along a mixture of vehicles, and there's a whole mixture of other vehicles here. So I think this should be a good video. I don't need any help, Porsche, thank you. Right, so before we start, what have we got here today? Well, just for a laugh, we bought our Renault Twizy. I mean, it's got all the ingredients: coilover suspension, rear motor, rear wheel drive, scissor doors, but it's not really a track car. However, we'll do a few laps just for a laugh, make everyone smile. That's what it's about with a Twizy. There it comes, I'm catching the Model 3 in the corners. I don't want to roll the thing over. We've got our crew van, Mercedes EQV, that we've been running for a few weeks, and we camped over last night and I slept in this, and it's brilliant. I absolutely love this van. I don't think we'll take it on track, but it's a brilliant van. Anyway, what else we got on track? The main car really for today is our Porsche Taycan 4S. It's a Porsche, this is what it's about, getting them on track. So this would be really good to see what we can do here. Now, we actually bought this on a trailer, so we've arrived here now with 100%, and we can drive it until it's pretty much done really, as long as we can get it back on our trailer. So how many laps will a Porsche Taycan 4S be able to cover? How many miles on track? Obviously efficiency really falls, probably use 5 times the amount of energy you would for normal driving, but can it last you know, a few laps and still be good fun on track? This is what we're going to find out today. But with us today as well, we've got our Tesla Model 3 long range. It's a long range, it's not the performance. This is mainly here today as a camera car. We can get a few shots from GoPros on it. But I've driven a Model 3 Performance on track quite a bit before, very capable. There's loads of them here. I'll do a few laps in this, and let's just see how a non-performance Model 3 long range fares. You know, will the brakes just melt off after a couple of laps? Can it still be good fun? We'll find out, don't know. It turns in quite well. I can actually get the back around a little bit. And then also over the back here, we've got our Tesla Model S long range performance. So this is the fastest Tesla available to buy, and it can do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, but they're not really track cars. They're a bit heavy, and if you do lots of laps, they don't cool the batteries like the Model 3, so you tend to only be able to do a couple of laps and have to kind of cool them down. But again, let's just see what it's like, what it can do. Can it put in 1 or 2 really fast laps, given it's the fastest Tesla available? Will it go past the Model 3 performances on here? I don't know. Well, again, we'll find out today. It's a big car, but it's actually hiding its way pretty well so far. Okay, first out, here's the Renault Twizy. Now, this is no track car by any means, but we brought it along just for a bit of fits and giggles really. But let's see what it does. Understeer, come on, we've got a bit of speed to get up now. I don't know if anyone's ever tracked a Renault Twizy before. Not the fastest car. This does about 60 miles an hour indicated at its top speed, but 52, 53, 54. Here we come into a braking zone. Understeers to the front a little bit. This car's just brilliant fun no matter what you do. You've got a bit of lean, I'm sliding out the seat. That's the thing about the Twizy. It makes you laugh no matter whether you're doing a school run or a track day. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to be the slowest car here in this. There it comes, I'm catching the Model 3 in the corners. I don't want to roll the thing over. It doesn't matter what you're doing with this, it's just so funny. Quite a firm brake pedal, but I've actually got okay brakes on this. The thing is, because it's so narrow, I can actually take a really narrow line through the chicane. So actually through there, it's probably not too slow. Still nothing behind me, the Twizy's holding its own on track. I guess what the Twizy is quite good for is making smooth lines, because you don't have the acceleration. It's a bit like when I used to drive an MX-5 on the track, because it's not the most powerful car. You do have to get your lines right and keep smooth, and that's the key. These little front tyres are clinging on for dear life. See, I lose them at the chicane because this can go straight through it. Don't have the speed on the straights. If this was more powerful, grippier front tyres, different suspension, it'd be pretty good. So there we are, a few laps in a Renault Twizy on a track. Not the most common car to take on a track. It was just for fun, and I'll tell you what it was. Doesn't matter what you do in this car, it's always a laugh. Yay! It's always brilliant. Okay, so now I'm in the Porsche Taycan. Now this is the first time I've taken a Taycan on track, so I'm going to be a bit steady to begin with, see how I start getting a feel for it. Okay, here we feel the gearbox. Change it through the gears now. Brakes are strong. You can go over the curves a little bit, the suspension really absorbs that. Wow, it's quite something when you get on a track in a car. It's so different to driving fast on the road. So as we're building up speed there, 100 miles an hour, I'm easily keeping pace with a Model 3 Performance who's driving pretty hard in front of me. So, but I want to be steady with this car. I do not want to put it off the track into some grass and get into a mess in a £100,000 car. Got one heavy braking zone here, so let's just be cautious behind these cars here. The brakes are good. You've got these massive discs and calipers, the biggest ever fitted to a Porsche on this car, and hopefully they can last a few laps, but they're not the carbon ones, they're just the upgraded polished steel ones, so not the carbon ceramic discs. Let's see how they last. Strange double apex there, just trying to find my line. I'm not used to this track, so I'm easily keeping pace with the Model 3 guys here. They're possibly a bit more agile around the corners because this is a heavy car. It does kind of feel it. Seems to be handling its weight transfer pretty well, to be fair. The suspension is still very absorbent. I can brake pretty hard and late as well. It's on Pirelli's, this Taycan. I'm like a Michelin on a track, but so far, so good. I've got a counter here that shows me how many G's I'm pulling, but there's no way I can look at that right now. No chance. Seems to gear change at 85 miles an hour. I've just knocked the voice command button. I don't need any help, Porsche, thank you. So remember, this is a Taycan 4S, not a Turbo and not a Turbo S, which I know are quicker. But how does a standard Taycan 4S fare? Bit of body lean. See, it's quite safe. It's on the understeer at the moment. How do you get this to be a bit more neutral and get the background? Oh, it's good though. It's good. I was concentrating there, just getting into the swing of things, feeling this car, feeling this track. My first time on this track. Well, that's that. End of the session for now. Just trying to sort of get that balance between having fun, pushing a bit, see what the car can do, but not take it off the track, not put it in the barrier, not destroy a car. But yeah, it's pretty good. It does go to show electric cars can be fun, and not just on the road fun, not just in a straight line fun, but fun on a track as well. So yeah, went on Porsche, very good. Right, we are now in a Tesla Model S long range performance, the fastest Tesla to date in a straight line at least. Now, it's not really a track car. It is a heavy car. It doesn't have the battery cooling like the Model 3 Performance do, so it's not really a track car, but we've got one, so let's take it out. And straight away down the back straight we gather loads of speed, and it's it's a big car, but it's actually hiding its way pretty well so far. More lean in the corners than the Model 3 or the Taycan, but here we go on the straight. This is where this car is fast. 90, 100, 105, 110, and I better hit the brakes, not leave it too late. Again, it's a completely stock standard car, No modified brakes, so we've got to be a little bit careful. So I can go over the curbs and it absorbs it. This has got the adaptive suspension. We're in the sports settings of everything here. Here we go, onto the back straight. 80, 90, 100, wow, it can go up the speed quickly though, this car. I'm having to brake a little bit early because there's a couple of cars in front of me already. Actually the steering's pretty good, the brake feels okay, so far at least. Here we come. I'm being held back by a couple of Model 3s at the moment. Literally coasting in this thing. I'm actually, it's better than I thought it would be, if that makes sense. Yeah. There we go. Model S long range performance on quick is actually, on track is actually a very quick car. It can do the corners. I mean, we were with the Model 3 performances on the corners, to be fair. It was clinging on in there, more body roll, but
yeah,
it was clinging on in there pretty good.
You can feel this is a heavy car, but still,
yeah,
it does well.
I think it actually did very well. I'm in our Model 3 long range. I've been on track quite a lot before with the Model 3 Performance, and it's a brilliant track machine, and I've very much enjoyed my time with them. So what's interesting here is just seeing how much different the long range is. We've done videos before where we know that actually the performance of a long range at the higher speeds is actually the same as the performance in terms of acceleration. I can feel here, obviously we don't quite have the brakes of the performance models, so in terms of speed it's as good as the performance, but it just doesn't have the suspension or the brakes really, and I'm just starting to feel that. But actually for standard road car it's pretty good. It's a bit more wallowy and bouncy, as you can probably imagine, but actually it's pretty good. Come up to the chicane here, trail into that. It's pretty safe and easy, nice and predictable. Because that weight's low down, you can get the power on pretty early. The seats aren't really supportive enough is what I'm finding now. You might see I'm just kind of moving around in the seats, so I'm sliding around, but it's a pretty good car, to be honest. Yeah, obviously if you are looking to do track days, then really need a performance model. Even then though, you will find that the brakes can start fading, but there are a number of brake upgrade kits available now, and John at Tivo Solutions, has organised his days, has got quite a heavily modified Model 3 Performance with anti-roll bar suspension, upgraded brakes, and that's a really impressive car. It's so sharp, it really is a very fast track car, that, and he's got some great options available for the Tesla Model 3. So actually it turns in quite well. I can actually get the back around a little bit. Yeah, it's quite sort of neutral. It's actually, it allows you to sort of get on the throttle, and the back end comes around a little bit. It's not too bad. You can't adjust in the Model 3 Performance, you can adjust the power front rear, which you can't do in this one, but it's pretty good. Yeah, I have to say. I mean, we can do a few laps. After about 4 laps with heavy braking, you will start getting messages up. Hey, see, we can move it around a little bit. You can actually move it around a little bit. You get on the power, but it's safe and predictable. It's all good, actually. Woohoo! For a standard road car, you can have some pretty good fun in it, to be fair. Okay, let's cool this one off. So Model 3 long range, it's got the actual speed and performance, no problem there with that. But if you want to do mini track days, you need the performance model really for the brakes and the slightly stiffer suspension. Even then, if a track day is your regular thing, some of the upgrades that are available for the Teslas now are worth getting. John's modified performance is something else on track, so composed, so fast, so much grip, it's unbelievable. It's a really strong track weapon, so that is an impressive car. So there we are, Tesla Model 3 long range. It's not a bad track car really, but you wouldn't do regular track days, but it goes to show that actually the body composure, the balance is all very good. It's a pretty well sorted car, and the you know, for a standard car, it can go around the track very fast. I've driven a few standard cars on a track, like BMW 320Ds even, and yeah, you think actually they got pretty good composure, but the Tesla Model 3 does just the same. For a standard car, it's pretty darn good. So here now with John, who's organised this event. John from TiVo, tell us what it's taken to organise this and what you think, you know, how the days run and what we're going to see in the future.
Well, yeah, it's taken quite a bit of effort to organise it, to be fair.
You've put a lot into it.
You know, the first thing is that I'd say I've spoken to quite a few track day organisers and circuits over the last probably year and a half about the idea of running an EV only track day, and for whatever reason they haven't done it, so I thought the only thing to do really is do it myself. So Llandow is a great little circuit. I suppose more importantly, it's cost effective to hire a circuit like this.
Yeah.
And because we didn't really know how many people we'd get, you know, we didn't want to take the gamble on spending a lot out on a big circuit like Brands or Silverstone and then losing a lot of money.
It'll come in the future.
It'll come in the future, but the thing is, we've proven today that that it's possible to get. We've got 24 cars here, 24 EVs, no hybrids. We've run safely. Everybody's enjoyed themselves. The cars have performed pretty much flawlessly.
I don't think there's been any issues, has there?
No, I mean there's been a couple of little tyre wear issues, but you know, this is kind of a learning process for everyone. For us as organisers and also for the drivers to see how their cars work on track and how they react. So. Yeah, I hope we'll have another one. I don't know when it'll be, but we'll have to see after this what the reaction is and whether we get a lot more inquiries. And then, if there are a lot, we'll do one.
I think it's got to be the start of many. And you know, thanks, John, for organising this. I know you've put a lot of work. We've been speaking to you for the last few weeks. You've been planning this. It's been brilliant. And it's going to show that actually there's a lot of sort of fairly standard cars here as well. So not even the performance models of the Teslas. And they've been going around having as much fun. E-Golf, we even did a few laps in a Renault Twizy, enjoyed that.
ID3.
I think your car is still about the ultimate track weapon with your modifications that you've got on this in particular. It is epically fast, capable. And what was really good here as well, we could do rapid charges closer, but actually a lot of people here have done the morning session, quite happily gone off and charged, come back, and they're still going around now, and it's gone 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, isn't it, John? So electric cars can still run all day on a track, and it's been brilliant. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
There we have done indeed. Thank you. If you want to see more about TiVo and the modifications they can offer for Model 3 performance, we'll put links in the description below of both TiVo's YouTube channel and his website. Okay, it's mid-afternoon now and we're starting to wrap things up, so that's been good fun. Hopefully it's been good fun watching it, but how many miles have we covered in the cars and what would they like to drive? Let's try and run around them and summarise them. So the Porsche has done 49 miles basically, which on this circuit here is about 45, 46 laps. And you know, at the end of the day, it's taken us till 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, so actually quite a lot of track time and about what I expected really. Like I say, you do about 5 times the energy usage on track as on the road. We do 250 odd miles on the road, so yes, about 50 miles on track's about right. Firstly, what do I think of it to drive? Well, actually, it's a bit understeery. You know, I was struggling to get it to bite, even with all the in Sport Plus and with the traction control off. I was still trying to provoke it into oversteer and just couldn't really do it. I thought it feels nice and sharp on the road, and I thought on the track, actually, it would it kind of lost that front end bite, and it was a bit too much understeer for my liking. And you can see the evidence by looking at these tyres here. So. Come around here, we've got this tyre here absolutely sort of shredded across the side here. It's mainly it's a clockwise circuit, so you can see how this is scrubbed right across, and that is the state of the tyres after 50 miles. Now these tyres were fairly low before, and this is why we actually bought this car on a trailer. We knew we would finish it up here now. So that was 100% to 0, by the way. It's reading nothing on the mileage now. And then this tyre is actually in an even worse state, and you can see here, I mean, we were driving pretty hard and we were trying to provoke it into drifts and all sorts of stuff, but without too much luck. So that tyre there is definitely near its life, but the geometry was slightly out on that and it was already a bit down. But beware, if you're doing track days, of course, to consider your tyre wear, if especially you've got to drive home. We're lucky enough to be able to put this on a trailer now. So yeah, 49 miles, 100% to 0 on a track, driving it hard. We were driving it hard, and that averaged 1500 watt hours per mile. So yeah, quite a high energy usage. Let's go around. So we've got the Twizy. Well, the Twizy doesn't really count. That was just for a laugh. It was funny. It understeers, it rolls, you fall out of your seat. I wouldn't want to tip it over either, so that was just for fun. And then the Model 3 long range, so it actually does pretty good for a standard car. If you're doing lots of track days, then you really need to have a Model 3 long range performance. And actually, if you're doing lots of track days, I'd have a long range performance with a few modifications, and then they're super fast track cars. So this wasn't really the main car we were tracking, but it was being used for as a camera car basically. And so it actually covered 30 miles on track, and it averaged 1200 watt hours per mile. Those 30 miles did take it from 96% when we got here and left this morning to it's now on 36%. So yeah, you know, obviously it has used a fair bit of the battery, again about what we'd expect really. And the tyres have started to scrub a little bit, but we weren't driving it too hard. Well, we tried a couple of laps quite hard, but not too bad. And then the Model S long range, again, we weren't really here to do many track miles in this. They're not really geared up for doing tracks because they're heavy and they don't have the battery cooling. But you know what? Actually, I was really pleasantly surprised by this. Now, it actually has quite a nice balance to it. It's a bit soft, it rolls a bit, but it actually turns in well. And actually when you start pushing to the limit, I found it a little bit more balanced than the Porsche Taycan. That would actually understeer more than I had in this one. Michelin tyres on the front of this, maybe they make a difference. They're very good. But it's obviously very fast in a straight line. It handles a few laps fine. The brakes did get hot after about 5 laps, and then the battery temperature would have started to rise, but I didn't actually get a battery temperature warning, but that's because we kind of went out onto track when it was quite cold as well, so that would have helped. So this is actually the surprise of the day. It can handle a track pretty well. There's not too many laps, and it's not really going to be a track car, but it held its own quite remarkably well. Average economy, this one we averaged 1500 watt hours per mile, so that actually makes it about the same as the Taycan. And the Tesla Model 3, as with almost every test we seem to do, seems to be the most efficient car. So that's been a really good day. The Mercedes van, we haven't taken out on track. We've got loads of stuff in it. We're not going to empty that out for that, but it would have been fun. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. A big thank you to John at Tevo Solutions for getting this arranged, and the guys at Motorsport Events, and everyone here at the Llandow circuit in South Wales. It's a new event. I think we'll be seeing more of this. A lot of the Tesla Model 3s have been flying around here. They're still going lap after lap. If you've got rapid chargers nearby, again, you can go off and charge for literally half an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and then come back and do a full afternoon session. If you're doing that many track miles, then you're probably going to have a slightly modified car with some tyres or change of tyres. But it is easy if you've got some chargers by the circuit to do a morning session, afternoon session in full, lots of track miles, no problem at all. So electric cars can be fun. They do work on track. They can be fun on track and very fast on track. And it's been a great day. So let's wrap it up from here. I hope that's been useful, interesting, and some fun to watch. I think we all had more fun doing it. So if you've got an electric car, don't be scared to do a track day. I'm sure there'll be more coming up soon. Thanks for now.